71% of our sisters are not married, 29% will never get married, 63% of our brothers are not married, 30% of them will never get married. There is no culture in the history of humankind that has risen to maximize their full human potential without family at the center of their culture.
Okay, so Black Millennials reimagined the mating process. As our generation, we decided that unlike my aunt who, I went to college to get a husband, right? That her philosophy, we said we're going to value an experiential journey, meaning that we wanted a collection of experiences. We wanted to travel. We wanted to have financial independence without the responsibility of kids. We wanted to see different places, live different places, maybe explore the abundance of options that we have when it comes to dating. And doing this, delay the commitment, delay child rearing, but ultimately after that, settle down, secure traditional marriage, and have kids, legacy, family, meaningfulness, and that was the plan. Now, looking back with hindsight, it's a very, far-fetched plan, but I mean, that was the general belief that a lot of people had. Now that Black Millennials are aging into middle age, and we're starting to get the first of the results from this this idea. A lot of people are, the roosters are coming home to crow, and now so louder than ever, the remorse is starting to be spoken about. There's 4 types of remorse that I typically am hearing about just out day-to-day culturally and having conversations. The first is whole phase remorse. Okay, so the whole phase was really popularized with Issa Rae, Insecure, and the whole phase was a decision of women basically to embrace their time of non-committalness, to engage in whether it be sexual fantasy, whether it be the exploration of being with a man in intimacy without the committal and the things that came with the traditional relationship, and an opportunity for them to experience things in a way that they had not experienced them maybe traditionally before. Whole phase might have been a woman who prior to this had never really had sex outside of a committed relationship, but then during this phase, she begins engaging in casual sex, and begins, says yes to something that she normally had said no to. It's like an exploration, maybe a sexual journey, discovery of self is how some described it during the time, right? Whole phase remorse now is for the women that it didn't work out for, which is a lot of them. Some did go from this phase to slowing down, committed, and are happily married. So I do know some who ended well, but for a lot of them, whole phase remorse looks a lot like shame, looks a lot like sexual confusion, looks a lot like heartbreak, looks a lot like regret. I think whole phase remorse, a lot of that it comes from women who engaged in something that they probably weren't truly ready for. I don't think there's that many women that can truly engage in non-committal intimacy with guys that they find extremely attracted to, and don't know that those guys do not see them as a partner past that. I don't think too many women can experience that without feeling a certain type of hurt. Also, now there's shame that comes in because some of these women, things that they did during their whole phase may have impacted when they had guys who were viewing them and saw them as, maybe a partner who now, may have come across something different. It affected some of their relationships. Some of them, it kind of created a certain type of confusion around sex. Now they went, I know some that went out of whole phase to celibacy to this, and a lot of them, it really put a situation on them where they lacked a certain clarity. A lot of sex from a lot of men, you could. I believe that too much penis can cause mental health issues in women. It's just a personal belief of mine. So that's what I see in whole phase remorse. Now, a lot of women in whole phase remorse are in the church. I'm not saying this, but there's old Mac saying a hoe's last stop is religion. So in whole phase remorse, there's a lot of women that are going that way, and have a certain remorse for engaging in that lifestyle and not just following the traditional path that they might have normally been on. That's the first one. Second one, I'm guilty of unmonetized free time. My logic was, hey, I'm not committing to nothing because I'm pursuing the art life and I'm gonna do this. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm creating something that's meaningful and it's gonna be. And now I look back and I'm like, man, in my 40s, man, where's the book? Where's that? What did I do that was so wonderful with this time that it surpasses maybe the meaningfulness of at this age coaching my son's 10-year-old little league team. When I look back at the abundance of free time and it didn't maybe manifest into the creation or usage of something that I think was worth me not, marrying or not having a kid. My personal belief is that if I was a little bit more open to marriage, I would be divorced right now with a child, co-parenting, but had an experience that had me really ready, to go into, potentially a second marriage. And second marriage, that's where you do your best work. I'm joking, but I do believe that that's probably what would have happened. Had I got married, I don't think it probably would have worked, but I do think it still would have been something that accelerated my development as a man. All right, the third remorse is the getaways. I'm also kind of guilty of this. The getaways are people who had great partners. This transcends gender, whether male or female, that for whatever reason didn't want to take that step into marriage. For me, I just didn't have everything together where I wanted to. I wanted to have these before. It might have been a woman who, hey, she was making more than a guy, and he lived in. She didn't want to, for abundance of reasons. But the getaways are the people who passed on really quality potential life partners and now see that it is not easy, and these type of people don't exist in abundance. Type of people being people that have all the various things you desire and want you. Lastly, the mess makers. The mess makers this is usually brothers who cheated, got a divorce, got multiple baby mamas, got a kid, they live in, Philadelphia, their kid that they raising lives in Seattle, the mess makers, the men who, knocking them down 20 at a time has caused an extreme situation in their life where they're either not able to preside over their kids in the way that they want to. They have a child with a woman that they don't see eye to eye with. They have a contentious relationship with their kid because they're not. So the mess makers, they have experienced a divorce. And so those are the four types of remorse that I see amongst Black millennials.